Now it's time to bring JavaScript to life. Control the DOM, handle events, validate forms, create interactive pages, and build the core skills behind modern web frameworks. Let's build everything inside one project so you can see how the pieces connect. We'll use the browser and DevTools throughout the lesson. Here's the key idea. The browser takes your HTML and turns it into a structure of objects called the DOM, the Document Object Model. JavaScript works with that live structure. Think of HTML as the blueprint. The DOM is the live structure JavaScript can inspect and change. That distinction is critical. JavaScript doesn't directly edit your HTML file. It changes the DOM in memory. Let's give JavaScript a reference to something on the page. querySelector uses CSS selectors. If you know CSS selectors, you already know how to find DOM elements. If you get null, don't panic. Check the selector, spelling, capitalization, and whether the element actually exists. Inspect the Elements panel. What if the page has many matching elements? That's where querySelectorAll comes in. querySelector returns the first match. querySelectorAll returns all matching elements in a node list. Sometimes you already have an element and need to move through the DOM. That's DOM traversal. You can move to parents, children, or siblings. These relationships become especially useful when working with menus, cards, lists, and components. Closest finds the nearest ancestor matching your selector. It's a powerful way to work with nested UI elements without hard-coding the entire DOM path. Now let's change the page. Text content reads or replaces text. No refresh. JavaScript changes the DOM, and the browser updates the interface. Let's build our first interactive feature. This pattern powers most modern web apps. Enter a name and click the button. The user provides data, JavaScript processes it, and the DOM updates. That's the basic pattern behind interactive interfaces. Now let's look at a common interview topic: attributes versus properties. An attribute comes from the HTML markup. A property is the live value on the DOM object. The HTML attribute started as John. The DOM property now reflects the user's current value, Sarah. That's why properties matter when working with forms. Working with attributes. Use getAttribute to read. Set attribute to change. Remove attribute to remove. Data-star attributes let you attach custom information to elements. The dataset property gives JavaScript easy access to it. For most UI changes, don't turn JavaScript into a giant style sheet. Let CSS handle the design. Let JavaScript control the state. Class list is ideal for menus, dropdowns, themes, modals, and active states. Use direct styles when values are calculated dynamically. For larger UI state changes, classes are usually cleaner. So far, we've changed elements that already existed. Now let's create new ones. The element exists, but only in memory. It isn't part of the page yet. Once we append it, the element becomes part of the DOM and appears on screen. Let's combine these skills into a real UI pattern, generating product cards from JavaScript data. We started with data. JavaScript created the elements, added their classes and content, and inserted them into the DOM. That's the basic idea behind data-driven UI. We can now control the DOM, but a real application needs to react to people. Clicks, typing, keyboard input, form submissions. That's where events come in. Add Event Listener tells the browser what to watch for and what code to run. Here, we're listening for a click. This pattern is the foundation of interactive JavaScript. Let's see how a user action changes state and updates the UI. Every click changes the data. Then the DOM reflects the new state. That simple pattern powers likes, views, followers, cart counts, and much more. The event object. Every event also comes with an event object containing information about what happened. Target vs current target. For a simple button, they may look identical, but once events move through nested elements, the difference becomes critical. Target is the element that triggered the event. Current target is the element holding the event listener. Keyboard events and live search. The input event fires as the value changes. This is the foundation of live search, filtering, autocomplete, and instant feedback. Now let's handle one of the most important browser interactions: forms. By default, the browser submits the form and navigates. Modern applications often need JavaScript to handle that process instead. PreventDefault stops the browser's default actions so your JavaScript can take control. Form validation. This is the beginning of client-side validation. Give users immediate feedback before sending data to the server. Focus and blur help manage form states. Pointer events give you a unified way to handle mouse, touch, and stylus interaction. Now we're getting into one of the most important ideas in the event system. Events don't always stay where they started. They can travel through the DOM. The click started on the button, then bubbled upward through its parents. That's event bubbling. Stop-propagation prevents the event from continuing through the DOM. Use it deliberately, not as a quick fix for confusing event behavior. When an event behaves unexpectedly, don't immediately add stop-propagation. Inspect the element, check attached listeners, trace the event, find the actual cause. Now let's talk about memory. Browsers manage memory automatically, but your code can still keep objects alive longer than necessary. Event listeners are one area to understand. Using an arrow function directly as an event listener makes it difficult to remove that listener later because you don't have a reference to the original function. When cleanup matters, keep a reference to the handler. That makes it possible to remove the listener later. The important lesson is simple. When elements or components have a life cycle, think about cleanup. Events can also become expensive when they happen frequently. Typing, scrolling, and pointer movement can trigger handlers many times. Large applications need smarter event architecture. This is where event delegation becomes important. Frameworks add structure and abstractions, but underneath, the browser still runs on the same DOM and event systems we've learned. Understanding vanilla JavaScript makes framework debugging much easier because you understand what's happening underneath. Next, we'll learn event delegation, the smart technique that lets apps like YouTube efficiently handle millions of user interactions. I'll see you in the next lesson.